Alright, so welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at a form of relief printmaking using a Scratchfoam surface in order to create the various surface textures. So as you can see in this time lapse, what I'm doing is I'm just using a Sharpie to kind of figure out where I want to sort of push down into the foam and what areas that I want to be leaving raised up. So whatever areas that I'm drawing in with the black, these are going to be the areas that are going to print, and I'm going to end up using the pencil in order to push down on the rest of the foam in order to create those two levels. Right? So when using the foam, if you're wanting to try and eliminate as much of the background as possible, it's really important that you go over the area in multiple directions, right? Really keeping your pencil marks close together in order to make sure that you're getting something that is fairly or relatively consistent in terms of the overall flattening effect. More often than not, you're not going to be able to get a perfectly clean background space, just that's the nature of this particular media. But that's okay, right? It helps to create a little bit of sense of texture and a little bit of visual variety as well. Okay. So this takes a fair bit of time. I've started with the background first simply because it allows me to get used to the foam and get a sense of how much pressure is needed to be applied in order to actually create the differences in levels. Okay. So we're just going to continue to take a look at this process here, and as we continue to go into the next step, which is going to be starting to work on the interior of the bug, right? I have to be a little bit more careful, of course. All right, so I'll just let this kind of go for a couple more seconds so you can see the process, and then we'll get into inking. Okay, so as we transition into the printing, I just want to take a look at a couple of quick examples first. The first couple don't turn out too well, and that's perfectly fine. The first one's too light. The second image ended up actually being smudged a little bit because the paper moved during the printing process. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll out the ink onto the plate, and then we are going to make sure that our fingers are clean as we transfer it onto a printing surface. I carefully roll down the paper and then drape it across the printing plate and then rub it down with a baren. You'll notice that I have a scrap piece of paper sitting over top in order to keep the image clean. Now, what happens sometimes is if the underside of the paper or your surface is dirty, that ink and dirt is going to end up transferring. So that just simply means that you end up having to do the process again. When braying or rolling out the ink, you always want to make sure that you're pushing away from you, right? That you have clean hands and that you are making sure that you're applying even pressure and you're using the baren in a kind of circular motion in order to best lift the ink as well as to minimize the amount of potential smudging. Right? When you pull it back, put your hand on the back and gently peel your print off. And hopefully you'll end up with something that looks absolutely amazing. Best of luck, and talk to you soon. Bye.